if somebody calls in on a house, or they're a year out, I'm like, hey, it's a great time, 6 months out, whenever, go ahead and reach out to a lender, because the credit is key. Paying your bills, as I say, pay what it was my saying, I don't remember, but it's pay your bills, because it's going to save you money, a lot of money in the long term. Because when you think about credit, one, it depends on, it's going to potentially affect your interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to affect your mortgage insurance. It's going to affect your homeowner's insurance, your car insurance. If you, I don't know, does credit affect, well, I mean, just anything that is financed, but actually even insurance.
Yeah, insurance, everything. Yeah. I mean, it affects, insurance for sure. Just lots of things. I mean, even if you're renting, it's going to affect you, because you're going to have a huge security deposit if you have really bad credit, or you don't have any credit. So you're going to be considered a higher risk. So credit's important. Yeah, you buy a house, you buy a car, you go to rent an apartment, many different things. So you need to have good credit.
And pay your bills. I mean, of course, obviously sometimes things come up, but it is, I don't even know if it's so much pay your bills, like just be conscious of your credit score, because there's so many people that will refer to you, and maybe the spouse, has great, and the husband's terrible, and sometimes they're clueless about it. And I guess I've always been conscious of my credit score, because I guess the fact that I had a lot of debt throughout college, and I remember getting my first free T-shirt, and then I remember getting a gold Citibank card that I felt pretty impressive that I got this card with 6,000 when it was really like that was the worst thing you could have done.
Right.
But I always, for whatever reason, I always prided myself in paying my bills, and it's paid off, because I've always had good credit when I made big purchases, and it's saved me a lot of money. So
yeah, unfortunately there's a lack excuse me, not to go on like a soapbox, but I think there's a lack of financial literacy in our country, and there's not really an education about it. Especially if you're raised like I think the way you and I were probably both raised. We weren't raised really around money, or necessarily people who understood the best way to manage finances and things like that. So you go off to college and you're on your own, and all of a sudden you got people handing you credit cards around every corner. And then, hey, you can get a free T-shirt, you can get this, you can get this mug, you can get whatever, for getting a credit card. And next thing you know, you turn around and you got 25 credit cards in your wallet, and you get into a mess that could take you years and years and years to get out of. So I kind of have a soft spot for people that have had credit issues, and I'll sit down with everybody. It doesn't matter what their credit is, and help them come up with a plan. But yeah, to your point, I mean, I like to sit down with people. We have people 2 years out, and we sit down with them. We don't get paid on that until they close, but we're happy to sit down with them and show them that we actually care and that we want to help develop a plan. So I believe that it is definitely a missing piece in our country right now. There just needs to be more financial literacy and just education on how to get credit, how to manage credit responsibly, how to budget, how to save money, how to pay your bills.
Because if you don't learn it, you'll be 40 and still struggling with the budget. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's what we hired a financial advisor, and trying to get all that stuff in order. Just because if you don't watch your money, just like if you don't watch your credit score, not that you have to watch your credit score, but if you're just not aware of that stuff, you never know what's going on behind the scenes that you could help a lot.
Sure.
But also, you talk about that, it makes me think of student loans too, because we see quite a bit of people in student loan debt, and it just makes me think about, my thought is seek wise counsel if you're young and you're going to college, but hopefully as parents listen to this, make sure you guide your kids to be good stewards of their college choices, and if you don't know, seek somebody. I got a good friend, and I really respected what he did. His daughter wanted to go to some Ivy League schools, and that were quite expensive, but she was only going to get so much of a scholarship, and he basically said, all right, so you got that, this is what I'm willing to do, and we're not signing on any student loans. And I'm like, that would be tough for a kid to accept, but when I see some of these degrees that some people are getting out of college with, and the amount that they're owing, it's like, oh my God, did they not have any guidance? Anyway, so
no, we see it all the time in our industry. We see people with jobs making $40,000 a year, which is is a good living in most parts of the country, but they have $150,000 in student loan debt, and somehow that that just doesn't, the numbers don't really add up there. So it's hard to see that sometimes. So yeah, just be responsible, and seek wise counsel of people, no matter, find a financial advisor, find a banker or mortgage person or somebody who you can trust, that, because if your parents don't know, just try to find somebody who does. And hopefully if your parents out there, somebody at least who can give some good advice on that.
And on that note, if you ever need a good financial advisor, Brandon and I both know some good ones around the Nashville area, and can refer you to others as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Brandon, I think that's quite a bit on credit. I think if people either contact you, contact your team, get you squared away, look at the credit score. Even if you're 6 months, a year out, it's a good time. If you just jumped into a house or apartment, start renting, start working on your credit, because it's going to pay off. I think big time down the road.
Yeah, it's never too early to start planning. So we appreciate being on, and love the chance to talk to anybody and help them out with a plan.
All right, cool deal. Sounds good. Appreciate it, Brandon.
Thank you.